Hello and welcome to my channel, Single with No Kids, or SWNK for short. And my name is Renita, and it is a beautiful, sunshiny day where I live. Temperatures are about 100 degrees. It's my day off, so with my day off, I do a lot of self care things, as much as possible. Self care things, and self care is different for everyone. My self care sometimes includes laundry. As you can see, maybe I don't know if you can tell, I went and got my lashes and my eyebrows done today. And I was going to go get a haircut, but my barber said that he was out of town. So I was unable to get my haircut today, but my eyebrows and my lashes are fabulous. And I just wanted to hop on here and talk about self care. And I wanted to talk about being single with no kids, which I am at the moment, single and with no kids as well. And also on my self care days, I do a lot of reflection, um, a lot of self reflection, a lot of thinking, a lot of reflection, a lot of thoughts, some affirmations. Just my mind be running on things that's currently going on in my life, or what I could do, what I could be doing, what I should do, what I should be doing. But at the end of the day, I just try to rest and enjoy myself and be at peace with what's happening or with what isn't happening. And it's okay. I will recommend and always say to get busy living, and in all thy getting, get an understanding. And that's even what the Bible says. But in all of my getting, I have gotten an understanding that being single, and I'm also an only child, equals peace. And it is a blessing to have the time to yourself to utilize for yourself, for self reflection, thoughts, affirmations, self care, and things of that nature. Because what I understand, I've been an only child for my whole life, and I have not had kids for my whole life. For whatever reason, that's another video at another time. We all have our reasons for why we don't have kids, if you don't have them. Um, and with me not having any kids, and in the Bible it even says that being single is the best time to be utilized by God. And not having kids is a choice for some, it's an option for others. But the understanding that I got about me being single and not having any kids right now, and the realization that I have come to, especially being an only child, is I don't like hot and cold people. I don't know if you've run into those type of people, if you've dealt with those kind of people, if you're one of those kind of people. Like, even in the Bible, God says that if you are lukewarm, then he will spit you out his mouth, and you either be hot for God or you be cold for God. You be on fire. You know what I mean? You know the scripture, some of you, if you choose to know it or whatever. Your mission, if you choose to accept it. But I do not like hot and cold people. And by me being an only child all of my life, one thing that I have understood about myself is I can tell when people don't want to be bothered with me. And now that I am at this age, and I have come to the realization that when I figure out that people don't want to be bothered with me, it helps me to understand that I am not a priority. And that is not a bad thing, because me putting myself first is the priority, and I am the priority in my life. But hot and cold people, sometimes they want to call you, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they want to be bothered, sometimes they don't. Yeah, I'm cool on that. If you don't want to deal with me on a regular basis or talk to me on a regular basis, then I will be over here at peace in my own sanctuary, in the life that I can afford, in the place where I live that God has provided. Period blank. No harm, no foul, no love lost, but just know that I know that you are a hot or cold person that doesn't want to deal with me on a regular basis. And that's fine. Keep that same energy. But even in relationships, like if you're dealing with somebody and they call themselves interested in you and they want to try to cultivate a relationship with you, if you cannot call and talk to me on a regular basis. Say every day, every other day, 7 days out of a week. If I can't talk to you 3 or 4 times out of the week, then that lets me know that you really don't want to be bothered. If you say something like, well, call me, yeah, we can get together, or shoot me a text and we'll make some plans. But when I shoot you a text, or when I go ahead and I call you and you take days to respond, or you don't respond at all, don't be surprised when you do reach out that I give you that same energy, right? Like, for instance, I know this guy that was calling himself liking me. We had a phone type of relationship. Every now and then we would connect and go out or something. Like, we might have been out 2 or 3 times. And one time when he was constantly trying to pursue me or whatever the case, he didn't call me for like 13 days. And then when we finally did talk or whatever, he was like, he said something that was kind of disturbing to me. Something along the lines of, well, don't nobody got time to play games, and the phone works both ways. And, well, I was wondering why you didn't call me either. And my whole thought was, well, if you couldn't call me for 13 days, apparently you didn't want to talk to me. And we are too old to play games, and I'm not interested in playing games. And I didn't call you because apparently the energy was felt that you didn't want to talk to me. So, and that lets me know again that I'm not a priority to you. And if you can go for 13 days without talking to me, how about you keep that same energy and don't want to talk to me at all? That was kind of how that went. We had that conversation. We tried to make plans, or we made plans to do something or whatever, and we got those things together and we did do something. But after we did that thing, it was evident that this wasn't what either one of us wanted. And that's fine, because I'm at the point now in my life where if you can't make me a priority, then I'm not going to be interested in you. I'm not going to be more interested in you than you are in me. Especially with me not having any kids, I'm getting busy living my best life, regardless if I'm at home washing my dishes, doing my laundry, cleaning up, organizing, sitting here staring out the window, looking at the sun shining bright, or doing this video. If you can't figure out how to make me a priority, then I'm not interested. I'm not. I don't have kids. I don't have to make plans for a babysitter. I don't have to look for childcare. I don't have to petition or look for a sponsor to buy shoes and to take us all on a trip, or to take me out so I can go get food to bring home to my kids. I don't have to do that. So if you can't figure out how to incorporate me in what you have going on, or already figure out how to include me in what you have going on, or even think about me when you have some things going on, or are looking to do some things, then don't bother. Because what I've learned about myself is that I'm a giver, and I'll give you as much energy as you give me. And I might even have more energy than you have. But if you're not willing to give me the energy, the time, the effort, and things of that nature, then you're not going to get it from me, because I'm perfectly fine in my own space, my safe space, minding my business and getting busy living. I might have plans for tomorrow that don't include you if you haven't called to make plans with me. And then another thing that I thought about in self-reflection and reflection and my self-care and all of that is two things. You know how they say to be the person that you want to attract, or be the person that you're looking for, so that when they're looking for you, then they'll find you or whatever. And then there's another saying that's don't look for yourself in other people, or don't expect you from other people. It's not confusing, but just make it make sense, right? If I'm supposed to be the person that somebody's looking for, right? If I'm considerate, if I'm understanding, if I'm thoughtful, if I am outgoing, ambitious, spontaneous, and things of that nature, if I'm supposed to be that person that somebody's looking for, but you're not supposed to expect you from other people, how does that make sense? I'm expecting somebody to be as ambitious, as outgoing, as spontaneous, as giving, and as much putting forth effort as I am. How does that make sense to not expect me from other people, but you're supposed to be the person that somebody is looking for? Like, I don't understand it. And like, it's overwhelming sometimes. It's a lot to think about. It's a lot to consider. But what I do know is that if I am ambitious, if I am outgoing, if I am spontaneous, if I don't want to say available, because you can't even make yourself available for people these days, because then the wrong type of people will take advantage of your availability and the access that they have to you, that you don't want to do that too much, especially if you're a giver like me. But and the misconception with only children is that we're selfish, we don't know how to share, we're stingy, we're standoffish, we're unavailable, we're unapproachable. That's to a certain extent, but you also have to exhibit those qualities in order for somebody like me that's single with no kids and I'm an only child. You have to exhibit certain qualities for me to even want to consider to let you in my space. And I'm okay with not everybody being there. Yeah, I'm still looking to find my people or whatever, but what I do know is that your laziness, your lack of effort, the fact that you're not trying to be all inclusive. You want to take an all inclusive vacation, but you don't want to be all inclusive with the person that you're considering to be a partner. If you keep your family life and your home life away from the person that you're considering courting to be in a relationship with, yeah, that's not going to work for me. I don't need to know all of your business, but if you're not going to include me or let me in on some things in your daily life and the things that you have going on, then clearly you're not interested or really wanting to be as connected or as bothered as you pretend to be. And I think nowadays a lot of people would rather be miserable than put forth the effort and the work. And I understand that, because a lot of us have been hurt. A lot of us have been deceived, betrayed, backstabbed, exploited. There's a number of things that have happened to all of us that has a little bit of trauma attached to it, but that does not mean that you shouldn't still be open to the possibilities of creating something that might be what you need. And that's where I'm at right now. I might be at peace with being by myself and okay with being at home on a regular basis. Plus, it's hot outside. I usually try to wait until the sun is close to going down if I'm not already doing it. And plus, the way the traffic is set up here is a beast. Like, I am so okay without being stuck in traffic in some places. Again, if I'm not already there, I'll get there later on once the sun goes down and traffic clears up. But what I do know is that you have to make yourself somewhat open to that. And I was watching a sermon by Pastor Keon Henderson, and he said something to the effect of, if you're not ready to be vulnerable, then you're not ready for a relationship. You're not ready to deal with people if you're not ready to be vulnerable. And that's a iffy kind of thing too, because you can be vulnerable with the wrong people. And again, they exploit you, they betray you, they deceive you, they do all of these wicked things. However, the word says that we are not ignorant to Satan's devices, although he is cunning, slick, clever, and all of those things. We are not ignorant to Satan's devices. And if you have to challenge that thing, if you have to speak up on that thing, if you have to call that thing out, then do that to save yourself some trouble in the long run. Because that's another thing that I've learned about myself, that you need to speak on those things. You need to call it out. You need to say, hey, I don't like that. Hey, I don't like how this feels. I don't like how you're talking to me. And also, what I've done is compiled a list of, and I'm going to call it, I've compiled a list of how I have been doing relationships all wrong, or D.R.A.W, or draw, because I realize that I have been doing relationships all wrong by some of the things that I listed: making myself available, being vulnerable, talking too much, not speaking up, not calling those things out, not addressing issues. I've worked on a series on this channel called Doing Relationships All Wrong, because I realized that that's what I've been doing in my past. But going forward, once you know better, you do better. And that's where I'm at right now. And one of the ways that I figured to combat that is by sharing, because I know I'm not the only one that has figured out that they've been doing relationships all wrong. And eventually you have to do some inner work, you have to do some self-reflection, you have to have some thoughts, you have to do some affirmations. And really, something else that I didn't know about was the conscious and the subconscious mind. The trauma that you've experienced, the deceit, the betrayal, all of those things that have hurt you or brought you to a point of being hurt is trauma. And in your subconscious mind, those things are there. And those are the things that come to the forefront versus the positive, versus the absolute best that you could experience in life. So affirmations have really been helping. Although the subconscious is always busy, affirmations help to put those things in your mind to dilute the power of the subconscious. So I've been doing that wrong in relationships also, because I'm not I guess at one point in time, I'm a person that always waits for the other shoe to drop. Even though I try to be optimistic and glass half full type of person, sometimes in the back of my mind, I can't help but think about the other shoe dropping in a situation, in a relationship, when I'm dealing with somebody else. But I'm really hopeful and looking for the best. And then when the shoe does drop, I'm like, dang. And almost sometimes there's nothing that you could have done. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, right? But still trying to be optimistic, still trying to be glass half full, still faithful in holding on to the fact that things can be better than I imagined. It's just in God's timing and a matter of time. And there are certain things that you might have to do yourself in order to get that ball rolling for things to be different than what you've experienced. And hey, that's why I'm here today, right now, talking about doing relationships all wrong. So you stay tuned. I'm going from A to Z with the list that I've compiled, and I just wanted to share because I thought about those other things. Not expecting you from other people, and be the person that you want somebody to find to be with. Like, make it make sense. Make it make sense. I'm not going to say that I'm miserable. It would be nice to have companionship and somebody that really genuinely wants to be around and includes you and wants to have all those things going on with you. But in essence, you don't want to lose yourself trying to have somebody around for that purpose. And I'm the type of person also, I don't want to use anybody to get what I want, to do what I want, to have it the way I want. I'm cool on that. The genuine connections and the connectivity is what it is about nowadays. And I don't like hot and cold behavior. I'm not a hot and cold person. So I don't expect that from other people. And if I'm not supposed to expect me from other people, then what am I supposed to expect from them? Am I supposed to just be okay with them choosing to come in and out of my life? Like, that's not cool. But prayerfully, hopefully, and in due time, my people will come into play. The appointed time, the appointed place, and the appointed people. And just being patient waiting and doing what I can to get busy living. So I encourage you to do the same, get busy living, and do some inventory, some self reflection, some affirmations, and things of that nature. And if you know that you don't like dealing with hot and cold people, don't deal with hot and cold people, because that's where I'm at. And I'm going to sit right here in my safe space, minding my business, being at peace, and taking care of what needs to be taken care of, which is me. So until next time, get busy living and make it a great day.